Special meeting order, please call roll.
Burgess.
Here.
Jones.
Here.
Myers. Tate. Washington. Williams. Here.
All right, we got number 2 of the assignment agreement between Cook County Sheriff and Sauk Village. Wish I had these right inside the boxes. Anyone have questions?
Is this the one that just, I was here earlier today, Mayor, and I didn't see it, and I just saw it just now, so we must have just got it.
No, sir, it's one of your boxes, sorry, maybe first.
This one right here?
Oh, that's just the ordinance, and that ordinance is also reflected within the agreement. That's just the ordinance came in today, but the language of the ordinance is included in the packet, where it says language for the ordinance. But the ordinance itself was just made, received today.
The assignment agreement is what we discussed.
The assignment agreement is the one that explains what's happening. And everything that's pertained in this assignment agreement is pertained in that ordinance.
Same people.
Does anybody else not have the ordinance that is put in their box today?
I had that.
I did take a shot.
You have a copy of it?
It's just.
I need my copy of the mayor's signature. Hold on 1 second. I think it's just your copy of it.
As soon as they said,
The attorney gave a brief description about what's in the assignment agreement.
All right, yeah, we got this assignment agreement between Cook County Sheriff and Sauk Village. Basically, what they're doing is the sheriff has some workforce through their work alternative program, as well as their Restoring Neighborhoods Workforce program. And what they're looking to do is help Sauk Village or other communities with abandoned homes. And what they'll do is if we identify homes, we can provide them the addresses, and as long as we've gone through the proper notice procedures, they'll assist in cleaning up the property, reporting it up, or in worst case scenario, demolishing the property. And then if they do provide that work, they'll also, the village as well as Cook County can file liens on the property for the work they did, for the amounts of the work that they did. So they'll do that too on their own behalf, but it kind of helps out with this village as far as not having to have the workforce to do all that and then have to wait to have the liens paid if the work is done by the village. So the county's looking to assist on that. That's what the agreement would be about. And then the ordinance is adopting some provisions which just kind of codify what we have to do to ask them for assistance and the type of notice that would have to be given to property owners. About it. Any questions? Yeah.
Okay, I would say it's on the first page here, the fourth census statement now. The sheriff shall be conservator of the peace, and his or her county shall prevent crime and maintain the safety and order of the citizens of that county. Can you explain exactly what that's saying?
In these agreements, they'll kind of start at a real basic level, so that section is really what gives the sheriff the power, the jurisdiction over villages within the county. So it's just kind of outlining where the sheriff's power starts, but then as you go on, it kind of makes it more specific, which in this case, they're just using that power only for maintaining properties that the village would inform them of that are in a dilapidated condition.
Who determines the condition of the property, and what determines a vacant property?
That was one of his questions.
Is it for vacant properties only, and what is the qualifications to actually call it a vacant property?
A lot of times, it'll be the code officer for the village, working with the administration, and if something's abandoned, a lot of times statutes will say that taxes haven't been paid for a couple of years, it's abandoned. But in other cases, if the condition of the property has gotten to the point where it's hazardous or unsafe, or there's been fires, you can kind of declare it abandoned a little more quickly. You just have to obviously keep track of everything, and if there are fires, you have your incident reports, and you're able to provide evidence that shows that the property is not being maintained and that it's hazardous.
So we have the housing commissioner, he was, Mr. Millman talking about that specific ordinance explaining what the trustee, we in the California wanted to know about.
Yeah, I don't have a problem. The housing commission is the one that brought this to the village. So, I know Gary was very instrumental in working with the county so we can move forward on a lot of these vacant homes. Again, cleaning up. We talked about the debris in some of these homes, cutting the grass down. On the ones that are to the point where they've already fallen down, they are a safety hazard. Giving the county the okay to move forward on the demolishing these properties. I mean, some of these properties that need to be demolished are homes that are already been caught on fire. You have half homes still sitting there. I know we have a home or a complex over on Peterson Avenue. I got the mayor of Crete told me it's the third time he's been to that same area, 5 times, but a home like that needs to be demolished. The village doesn't have funds going there, but the county has a little bit more power to be able to go out, to come in if the village gives them the permission, and that's what this agreement and the ordinance is saying that we give. First of all, we'll identify these homes, and we give the county the permission to come in and do all the legal work, making sure it's no one's living there, making sure it's at the point where it needs to be demolished, and allowing them to do that. So again, it's not at a cost to the village or to its residents, but it also helps us out. We have a lot of homes where people are just dumping stuff. Public works, they've been going out and mowing properties where there's great big old branches, people cut down trees and just threw it on this property because no one's living there. We've seen an increase of TVs just being dumped on properties, or even garbage. This allows us to contact SWAT through the county. They'll bring a crew out, do all the cleaning of everything.
Even if the taxes are current? I'm just saying hypothetical.
I would say,
don't agree.
I would say yes for cleaning the property, and then again, that's what it talks about, going back and putting a lien on the property. So, to go in there and clean up a property, to cut the grass, things like that, it allows them to put a lien on the property. We're looking more demolishing is houses that are just completely falling down. The roofs are completely caved in, they've been caught on fire, things like that.
Okay, and as far as like if you need any board up service or anything to keep until demolition, are we responsible for payment to board these homes up?
We currently have a board up service that we use, but it gets to a point like this, hopefully we can turn it over to the county and have them come in and do all the work. That's part of the work that they'll do, but under emergency situation, especially where there's a fire, the fire department may say we need to get this home secure. So we'll still call in our board of service, still secure those homes and things like that. Because when there's a safety issue, you're gonna call the board of service,
Yes.
right then and there.
We got a contract with Rich.
Correct. So, Rich Construction is the board of service that we use
And that's strictly fire.
for fire. Trustee?
Okay, this paper that we got today, this has the outlines, and is that part of this agreement that we're talking about? This, the demolition and the addresses on the back, is this part of the agreement, is this what we're talking about now?
This, okay. So what you have here is the code sections that the county wanted the village to adopt. And on the back, gives the trustees areas that the housing commission has already identified as areas where either they need to be demolished or maybe even cleaned up. I saw this at the same time, so I haven't had time to read this.
Yeah, because it states it has, penalty for failure to comply. It does have spelled out demolition. So this is what the owner would get, or they would get something in writing first before we do the demolition, and that's what it looks like.
Oh, definitely. I don't think that the county's not gonna get in and just demolish a house. They're gonna make sure that, they're gonna do their best to contact whoever the owner is, who the last owner was of the property. Because they're gonna still end up putting a lien on the property.
Now,
All the work that was done.
these seem to be all privately owned homes. I thought we were going to try to get a couple of commercial properties that were uninhabitable and try to see if we can get that taken down. But either way, I know we used to, maybe things have changed, but we used to have a problem trying to get a house demolished. There was always paperwork and everything was read. They had to make sure that everything, the T's were crossed, the I's were dotted. With the emergence of the sheriff's police, will we be able to circumvent a lot of those different things that we would have to normally do to get these homes demolished? And who makes the determination whether or not the house is cleaned up, boarded up, or demolished? Who makes that determination?
Okay, those are all great questions. So with the agreement, it would circumvent circumvent all the problems we saw in the past with all the red tape. This is an agreement where we'll provide the information to the county. The county will do all the legwork, will do all the backgrounds and checking the property. Cleaning up a property and cutting grass, that's a simple one. They just tend to swap out and do all the work. There's a lot more work involved when it comes before you can demolish a property. That's where the county will be involved.
Okay, so there'll be, now, do we determine that property can be raised, or does county determine that property to be raised?
I think it's in working with the county.
I think
We're
Gary-
providing them all the addresses and stuff. And
He's showing that
Gary, he worked really hard on this one.
The
So.
houses, when everybody's got, I gave everybody this package 5 weeks ago in your box. It was in the sealed envelope.
Yes, you did. You gave us
Everybody has
this
to
page.
understand, I just put that out so people understand. These are all houses that have been condemned by the county health department, by the state. They've already been investigated. They already have, these 8 houses have already gone through the court process. The county will do the process from step 1 to completion. The demolition for this renew program is strictly demolition. The SWAT thing that is working with Mr. Furman is going to be doing the cleanup of other properties.
Okay.
This is strictly demolition.
So this is the second part of the,
Correct.
okay, this is not, that's why I was asking, does this have anything to do with what we're talking about now? This is the second item on the agenda, correct?
Correct.
Okay, Okay, so the first item on the agenda deals with just cleaning up the properties and those that need to be boarded up. And that's the agreement that we have with the sheriff police.
Correct.
Okay,
This one is also with the sheriff, but it's the second half of the same
Okay.
project.
okay, I'll wait for that one then.
All right. Anything else for the first one?
Question.
Let's see.
I think it should be clarified that the county has sole discretion on whether or not they're going to demolish a home or not. It is not a collaborative, we don't say please, they make the final determination, and that applies to SWAP also. So I think that should be clarified that we're out of the picture, that's the county's call. We're out of the picture once we submit the documentation to them, then they make the final call.
No,
But you, no.
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 they come back to you before they do the final decision.
Take a look at the agreement.
Correct.
The agreement specifically states that the county has final call.
But they come back to the board.
You're correct.
The county has final call.
Oh,
All
so
right,
I
let me explain this, hang on, please. It is in collaboration because the village provides the addresses of the locations. The county will come out and check those locations, come back to the village, and they have the final say on if they're going to do the work or not. So it is in collaboration with the village because the village is providing, you know, the county's not driving up and down our streets and picking houses out and just decide, okay, I'm gonna demolish that, I'm gonna cut that grass and clean that up. They won't come out until the village provides them the locations. They'll come out and view those locations and make a decision, and they'll come back to the village and say, yes, we'll take this job and clean these houses up or demolish, which is the next one. Or they'll come back and say, we're not going to do this at this time.
That's the final decision.
So final decision, they have final decision if they're going to do it or not.
That's exactly what I said.
Okay, I had stuck there, was a little bit misunderstanding.
No, absolutely not.
You're reading piece of work.
And the village is supposed to provide a list of the violations for each of these properties. Is that correct? And has that been done? I mean, has that been compiled? Okay, thank you.
All right. Anyone else?
You don't say, I don't think you know that part.
Well, again, when you look at, when you call them up for swap, we're going to say, number one, we have high grass, number two, we've got debris, we've got safety issues because people are throwing garbage out, things like that. So when we call them out and give them an address, there's going to be a list of violations from the village. So I think that was kind of question, you know, when we provide that information, that location, here's the violation.
Is this a one-time deal? Is this, in other words, we compile,
We compiled a list in April or May, and to come out and do the grass and do, you know, whatever we have to do to the property. Especially grass. Come June, do we call it back out for the, can we call them back out for the same property, or is it incumbent upon us to do something about it? That's what I'm asking. Once they do this and they come out and clean up in spring, do they come back out in summer and take care of those same properties, or is that incumbent upon us to take care of those?
No, it's an ongoing agreement.
Oh.
So as long as we provide them that, and again, remember, they're going to put liens on the properties. So
Okay.
whatever it costs them the first time, they're going to put a lien on the property. If they come back a second time, they're going to put another lien on the property for the second time.
So they will come out multiple times?
Correct, as long as the village calls them out, and we provide, here's the reasons why we're calling you out.
Great.
So it's a great service for the
We don't
village.
need to get a cutting service.
Yeah. Trustee?
We don't, I mean, if they're gonna do that, we have to get an outside vendor to help us with, Kevin's not here.
Trustee Burgess, we could actually submit 10 properties, but they don't have to accept any of them. So you will still need your grass cutting service.
Okay.
That's why I said final decision. The village does all the paperwork and submit it to them, but they look at that list and they can say, we're gonna do 1 of 10. We're gonna do 2 of 10. And then the village has to make up the slack if you're gonna have a grass cutting service. So don't do away with the grass cutting.
Oh, okay,
But just so everyone knows on the board, last year when we first started this, we didn't really have this agreement written up with them. Everyone we called them on last year, they came out and did. And when you look at the old hometown heroes, everyone remembers how bad that was? That was SWAT that came out and did that. When you look at the ditch behind Fairway, along through there. They brought SWAT in to clean up those ditches and to get all the weeds and stuff down. And they went all along through there last year and we called them out. So what they're doing now is last year, they provided the service. This year, they're trying to make it a little bit more, make sure that we have a if you want to call it intergovernmental agreement. We have an agreement with them going forward. So, and every project that we asked them last year to do, they did. So I've never seen them turn down a project.
Okay. So we'll be using our existing code enforcement officer.
Yes.
With this, is this a greater workload, or is this the same process that's normally been done?
Yeah, they're already gathering a lot of this information. It can be everything from someone calling in, going down the street. You know, they're issuing tickets already to these homes. Just having it, they've already got the information. All it is just sending it into them. Any questions on this one?
Just one final thing to address your issue, Trustee Burgess. We were talking about hometown bureau, the demolition, that this agreement does not cover commercial.
Right, that's why I was gonna go to when we get to the next one, I'm gonna ask about that. Thank you, I was gonna ask about that.
All right, so let's go ahead and move to the next one. Next one is dealing with the demolition. Number 3. And everyone should receive that one in your box already, right?
This is the one that came in today.
Yes, the clerk said it's in our boxes. I have not seen it yet, but she just shared your copy with me.
Yeah, they go ahead and explain this one. Yes.
Correct.
No,
I
not this one.
I don't remember if it was,
He didn't go over this one, he went over the other.
yeah, you want to go ahead?
This ordinance is adopting essentially 3 new sections with demolition procedures. And if you look, basically what it was is the county sent it to us. They wanted us to adopt these provisions as authority, or partial authority for the work that would be done under the assignment agreement. So if you look at the first page of the assignment agreement, in the last paragraph, they kind of have in all caps there, new ordinance. So that's what this new ordinance is. It's additional authority for the village and for the village to enter upon the property to remove any nuisances or possibly, for the demolition of abandoned residential property, or to assign, those responsibilities to the county. So these new ordinance provisions are referenced in the assignment agreement and provide some of the authority that the village and county will have to clean up property or possibly demolish it.
Just to make sure, so I'm looking at the same thing, are you referring to Division 4 demolition?
Yes. You got the ordinance there?
Yeah, this is the ordinance.
Yeah.
Okay. And it states on the second page that boarding the building up for future repair shall not extend beyond 1 year unless approved by the building official. So if that particular building has been boarded up for more than 1 year, is it 1 year after this agreement or 1 year from the time it was boarded up? So anything that's existing now, we would have to deal with that or try to tell the owner to do something, and after that has taken place after a year, we have the right to demolish that building.
Right, and yeah, as long as you fulfill any other notice requirements.
But here it doesn't say anything about commercial or residential.
It doesn't.
Hmm?
It doesn't.
I know, that's what I'm saying. It does not say anything about commercial or residential. So, with that being said, we may be able to do some of the buildings that need to be, that now, I understand if they're attached to something else, that's a different thing, but if they're standalone, then we may be able to do something as a, you know.
Right. All we do is ask, right?
Yeah. That would be, again, when you demolish a building, there's a lot that has to be done. You got to, you know, someone has to go in there and do due diligence on the different services, water, light, water, electricity, plumbing, and things like that. Who would pay for, who would take care of that? There's nothing in here to say who would take care of that. So, because that's something I would love to see, that if that building has to be demolished, that someone's responsible for cutting the gas, for capping up the gas, for capping up the water, making sure that the electricity has been demoed correctly, and then also the plumbing, the sewers. So there's nothing in this agreement that states that that responsibility falls on anyone. I was just wondering, that would be something that I would really want, because if we're going to do eight houses, if we had 8, I mean, I know we have more, but if we have at least even 8, and we decide to demolish those, just wanted to get a running cost estimate, if we can find out how much that would be, so we can kind of know once we go forward and say, okay, let's tear this one down, if it's going to cost $3,000, then we can make that determination at that time.
It's the county. What you're doing is through a program called Renew, if I remember right. You fill out the request form, get all the information, the county does everything.
Oh, so they would be
They're
responsible?
responsible for everything.
That's going to be great. I want to see this. That's going to be great. I just didn't want it to, because once we do, though, Mayor, I mean, we have this on the books, we have everything there, and then we submit it to them, and then it's held up for the next 3 or 4 years because they haven't, whatever, you know, that's, if they're going to take care of it, and all we're responsible for is what we have here in this ordinance, then that's fine. If they're going to take care of everything, but if they don't, or it's held up, then this ordinance really doesn't mean much if we're going to, you know, so.
Again, right, you gotta remember, the county is going to be putting liens on these properties, so whatever it costs them, that's the liens they're going to be putting on these properties. So
I'm sure
the
Sherry is
county is
going
up funding the cost, we're looking at getting those funds back.
Okay, because I'm sure some of these properties that we have on this list that Gary made up, I've driven past those homes. Those homes have been dilapidated for some time.
Right.
I'm sure somebody at that particular time has had a fine. I don't know about the name, but a fine. Obviously, they didn't care to respond or whatever, so it's ongoing. It's blighted. So collecting that money, maybe, I don't know. I'm just wondering if the county would just come in, if they're going to do that, come in, take care of it first, and then if they're going to wait on the money, they're going to be just like us. If they're waiting on to get reimbursed before they demolish the building, then it'll be just like what we're doing right now, waiting on someone or the owners or whatever to contact us before we demolish the building. So.
No, the project is to demolish it and then put liens on the property.
Okay.
They're upfront the money first. It's through a program.
Okay.
I think it's called Renew. Again, helping municipalities and towns, they're having the same problems across the South Suburbs.
That's a good thing. If it does it that way, then, because if we have to wait, we already know this.
Any other questions? All right, Bill? I'm sorry, Trustee.
I just want to know, is there a better time breakdown? Okay, 3 months into, you get a written letter. 6 months after that, you get it served to the house. A year after that, you get a lien. You know, I just want to see a set breakdown of times.
The village is not the village doesn't do any of that. What we're doing is we're providing a request to the county. Say we have this property here. And the county is the one that does all the work. They do everything. They do reaching out to try to find the property owners. They're the ones that's going to demolish it. They're the ones that's going to clean everything up. So our part is filling out the request and saying, here's the violations. Here you go.
So they handle all the legal fees and everything.
Right.
Okay.
Right, doing everything.
Mayor, can we have, since Gary said this is his part here that he initiated, can we have him to explain? Maybe he has some more insight than what we just discussed.
In a virtual packet I gave everybody, there's exhibit B that we fill out.
Right.
The jury has to sign off on it, the mayor has to sign off on it, and we turn that over to the county. They send out a county inspector, they look at the property, they make a determination right then, like that. Sherry and I have been working on this project for 2 years. As to your question, a year, it does say in there that a year after boredom, but it also, under state and county mandate, after the third citation was issued, they can come in and tear it down. It requires 3 citations and a 90-day period to be administered. These 8 properties, on the average, have 150 citations already. Okay? They more than qualify. Why the county, Sheriff Willie Winters asked me to give him 8 properties immediately that he can send out 14, 2 houses each a week, and tear them all down to show us what they're going to do. They secure all the water, they secure all the gas, they secure, by county law, they have to claim such, have to recover 70% of the building has to go to recycle. They bring in asbestos testing and everything. No cost at all to the village. They will put on a lien of $25,000 per house or tear down. Anything on and above that, if they ever do collect, they have some right now that they've had for 22 years and haven't collected on. If they ever do collect on it, anything above that amount of money, just turn it back over to the village. Swim minus or not, but it would come back to the village. But it's an immediate program. So they wanted us to select out of the houses. They've had the listing since February of last year, 2014, when Sherry and I submitted it to the building and authority for Cook County. All the houses that we're going to be submitting to them have already cleared the legal process. All they have to do, and it's all prisoners from Cook County support program. It's the educational program. They bring them in and tear down. They are starting up the industrial part. So they're doing like hometown, the old hometown and stuff like that. This is the housing part. This is the neighborhood blight. It's the neighborhoods. So that they can clean them out and turn it into parks. When they leave the property, it will be 100% landscape. Okay? And they will maintain, at that time, we'll end up, they'll either surrender the property to the village or they'll take it on themselves. If they come out and cut, speaking to the first one we had, this year they changed the program from last year. The mayor would have to call them and ask SWAT to come out. This year, once we called SWAT, they come out and they cut the grass on the property. They take that property on for the rest of the season. They buy monthly, cut the property. They send teams out, they cut it, they inspect it. God help anybody they catch throwing trash on their wall, they're worse than on the spot. But we don't have to maintain it at all. The biggest portion, the only thing we have to do is Sherry and I and JW have to assure to it that Exhibit B is filled out.
I do have,
We have all that.
Mayor, I do have one question. Once we demolish that property, and do every, from A to Z, take care of everything. Where does the ownership of that property go to? Who owns that? It's,
Cook County, it's just
Okay,
like,
so-
it's just like the, property that we voted on last month, that is, it goes into the tax exempt status,
okay.
and it is Cook County property.
Now, can we acquire that through that program, or, okay, who would have first rights to acquire that? Would it be a private owner? The village?
Bill,
And it would be,
you have a bank, and if someone comes and contests that they've torn it down, this agreement that you have was written up by the Cook County Legal Department,
okay.
okay, in circuit court, and they would be the ones.
Because the reason why I'm asking,
Village has we're identified, we have no liability.
no, I understand that part, but the question I was asking is, once that property has been demolished, what kind of lien can we put on a property that's no longer owned by that? In other words, we don't love the
Well, they'll
county.
put a demolition lien on it, but we still put a lien on it for all previous tickets.
In other words, we'll put a lien against that owner for everything else that he has? Is that what you're saying? Okay.
It's in the best interest.
The state changed the law from right, David. You can only go back 5 years now.
Right.
It used to be, you could only go back 10, you could go back 10, but they changed it to 5.
It's in the best interest for the county to try to sell the property, once they demolish something. So, it's in our best interest too.
They've
So,
got tools, which nobody else has. Kevin would like to have the bulldozers and stuff. And you remember last year, the house on 216, three doors in from Peterson, that was, we had that, we signed the paperwork on that, we signed the paperwork on that Monday, and they tore it down on Wednesday. And it was landscaped by Friday.
Because there are some homes that are on Peterson that are connected.
48.
Don't talk about that.
They came out last Wednesday and looked at the connected homes. One of them was 1805.
Right.
Next to Angel
Right.
House.
They can't touch
They had a
that.
Canadian person. So the court, they went to court, got declared abandoned property, even though he's in prison. And what they will do is they'll cut that out. And they will actually go in and put siding and fascia on the side of where they take it out. They'd rather move the people out there the whole building down.
Right.
But they will.
Because they share a
take
wall.
out.
Because they share a
So
wall.
and 1805 is on the second list already.
Okay.
all right, any other questions? All right, both these are on the agenda tonight to vote in the regular board meeting coming forward, so. That's it, ask for a motion to adjourn. That motion is there, second. All in favor, say aye. Meeting adjourned. All right, we'll move directly into our Sauk Village board meeting.
We need to get a copy of the board meeting.